City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a Friday Night Smackdown review, baby. Now, before we get into the content today, I have to give a thank you to everybody that has liked and subscribed to the channel. Okay, those who have been listening to me for a little while now, you know that when I, really got started and started getting more consistent on this channel, I said that I had a modest goal, all right, or what I can now consider a modest goal. I wanted to get to 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is in mid-April, okay? 2 weeks into this journey, right, I hit my 100 subscriber mark, okay? And like just completely blew my expectations out of the water, okay? And I decided to go ahead and up it from there and said I want to reach 500 by my birthday, which would be in mid-April, okay? But you motherfuckers, alright? You absolute beautiful people. You have made me hit my goal 2 months before I could even, I'm not even close to my birthday yet, man. And we're already over 500 subscribers. I'm about to be able to hit monetization, okay? So we'll be able to do live streams with super chats. I'll be able to put my shop up, so if you guys want to support the channel in that way, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have all kinds of shit out there. I'm going to have mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all that shit. Nate the Great branded everything, okay? The culture shop is coming soon, okay? I appreciate all of you so very, very much, all right? You guys are giving me all the motivation, all right, to keep on going, and I'm going to go ahead and up the goal again, okay? We're going to see if we can hit 1,000. I mean, we might as well, right? We might as well, okay? We might as well see if we can hit 1,000 by my birthday. If I don't hit it by my birthday, I won't be mad because I've already exceeded the expectations that I set for myself so far. You guys have exceeded my expectations. So I just want to say that, you know what I'm saying, get that out of the way. Thank you so much, all right? So without further ado, like and subscribe if you want to hear some more, all right? And let's get into the content today, all right? Now, initial thoughts on the show. This Friday Night Smackdown was better than last Friday Night Smackdown, all right? And that is the best compliment that I can give this show, all right? Because we actually had some things happen on this show, all right? But we're going to go ahead and talk about it, okay? First thing we want to talk about is the fact that there was no Joe Tessitore tonight, all right? Joe Tessitore was replaced tonight by Vic Joseph because Joe Tessitore, he went off to do something that he is actually legitimately good at, and that is boxing commentary. He will be, he was off tonight doing a commentary for the WBO Championship Boxing Night, all right? I believe it's on ESPN, all right? So, good for Joe Tessitore. I know that's going to be a nice little check right there for him. Always love when, you know what I'm saying, some people are out to getting the money. And I just honestly would like to see Joe Tessitore go back to just doing that, because Joe Tessitore, he's not a good WWE commentator, all right? He is good and is best when it comes to his boxing commentary, because he actually knows the fuck he's talking about, and he's actually entertaining there, all right? So there's no Joe Tessitore tonight, right? And yeah, Vic Joseph came up from NXT, all right? No Corey Graves. This is just a lesson to all the fellas and all the ladies out there that watch these videos, okay? Never burn your bridges, dog. Never burn your bridges. I burnt quite a few bridges in my day, so I'm not speaking of this from talking down to you, but don't burn your bridges. If you get mad, if you get into a situation where you feel like you're getting done wrong, if you're not prepared to just simply leave the situation and move on to a better one, then just keep that shit to yourself, because I know they would have allowed Corey Graves to come back for, for this Friday Night SmackDown had he kept his mouth shut and not talk no shit about the WWE. Do I agree with what he was saying? Absolutely, okay? But we see that WWE is petty, so Triple H decided to go ahead and pull Vic Joseph up instead of Corey Graves. And we haven't seen Vic Joseph on SmackDown in how long now? 2-3 years? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen Vic Joseph on SmackDown. So there was that tonight. So the first segment of the show, of course, we get a Cody Rhodes promo. Okay, before we get the Cody Rhodes promo, we got a recap of what happened last week, of course, when Solo Sikoa returned. Okay, Cody Rhodes goes ahead, comes out, puts the people to sleep. All right, what do you want to talk about? Right, lists off everybody in the Elimination Chamber, basically, like, oh yeah, this is what I don't like about a lot of these promos, right? They come out and they just tell us everything that already happened, right? Oh, well, Jey Uso went ahead and chose Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. So now all eyes are on the Elimination Chamber for who will be facing me, right? In the main event of WrestleMania, okay? We have prospects like Logan Paul. We have CM Punk. We have the GOAT John Cena. We have I forget who else the fuck. I don't know. I forget who else the fuck is in the Elimination Chamber, man. Who cares at this point? But he lists off everybody that's there. He says also Drew McIntyre. Oh yeah, so Drew McIntyre, right? And then yeah, he says those 4 people, right? But he says also Drew McIntyre. Remember that, all right? But he reminds the people that Solo Sikoa is not in the match, and that Solo Sikoa will not be, qualifying for the match because there's only 1 match left or 2 matches left, and he's not in them, so he won't be in the Elimination Chamber, and he doesn't think that the spike was specifically for him. All right. He then gets interrupted by Drew because he is putting the crowd to sleep. All right. Drew McIntyre comes out and he's crying, of course, because that's what Drew does. All right. Drew McIntyre crying, talking about, well, what do you mean also, Drew? Okay, that's all I get. All I get is an also Drew. And then Cody Rhodes, the fucking master twink that he is, right? He says, oh man, I apologize. You want me to do it again for you? And he does it with a lot more gumption this time. He says also Drew McIntyre with a lot more gumption, right? And then Drew's like, and aren't I the one that came to you last month and hugged you in the middle of the ring because I knew that you were going down a dark road? Aren't I the one that won the Royal Rumble, that won an Elimination Chamber before? I think he said he won 2 Elimination Chambers before, once as a champion, once as a challenger, right? And, he just starts listing off his resume and his accolades and all that stuff, okay? And he's, like, basically saying that, if anybody, should be worried, like, Cody should be worried about Drew McIntyre more than pretty much anybody else, basically, right? They end up getting interrupted by Fatu, all right? Fatu comes out and he basically says that, he's going to be the one to win the Elimination Chamber, so Cody Rhodes should be afraid of him. He's going to bring the championship back to the family. Yada, 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 okay? Fatu says that basically he's going to beat Drew's ass, all right? Drew basically gets out of the ring, walks away, because like they were about to brawl right then and there, but then Drew was like, nah, we're not even going to do this right now. You got a match that you need to focus on tonight, and I need to be focused on preparing for the Elimination Chamber. So he gets out of the ring, leaves Cody in the ring with Jacob Fatu. Now you might and Tama Tonga, mind you. So you might be wondering, how does Cody Rhodes get out of this situation with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga in the ring with him, staring him down, getting ready to whoop his ass? Okay, To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, all right, well, actually, it's pretty easy. Barely an inconvenience. Because up on the screen, we see Solo Sikoa getting out of a car and walking into the arena. And Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, they throw an absolute bitch fit, and they start, they get out of the ring and they start heading back to heading back into the backstage area with some gumption on them, okay? But before that, he says, Jacob Fatu basically says something about how he has to have the first word with Solo, and Cody Rhodes says, you may be able to have the first word, but I'll have the last word with him. All right, and there's that segment. That was the first segment. We are 20 minutes into the show, and we hit a commercial break. Okay? All right, boring as fuck. All right, but let's go ahead and move on. All right, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, they're backstage causing havoc. Tama Tonga runs up to this producer guy, this little roadie guy. I don't know, somebody backstage. He's like, "Where the hell is Solo? Where's Solo?" They're looking for Solo. He moves him out of the way. Then Jacob Fatu comes out of nowhere and just barrels through this guy, this poor fella, poor fella. All right, but they're looking for Solo Sikoa. Okay. We're going into the ring because Chelsea Green and Naomi, they're getting ready to square up for their Elimination Chamber matchup. All right. Trish Stratus, before the match, basically gets an interview by Wade Barrett. She's in the crowd right next to the announce table. So Wade Barrett goes ahead, interviews her. She basically says that she will be at the Elimination Chamber. Okay. Cool. Nobody cares. All right, so we move on. Chelsea Green versus Naomi. There's not much to say about this match. We already knew who was going to come out on top of this. Chelsea Green is not going to win this match. Okay, there were 2 commercial breaks during this match, and Naomi ends up winning by pinfall due to her split-legged moonsault. Okay, so she and Bianca are going to both be in the Elimination Chamber. We'll see how that plays out. All right. Next up, we get a Sami Zayn update. All right. He basically says, it's basically kind of a running joke at this point that we're always turning on each other, this, that, and the other, and that we're always fighting. But this time it just feels different for me. And when he comes back, he will be coming for Solo. Cool. Let me just go ahead and put this out here for you, Triple H. Just because you put the criticisms of the IWC into the shows, just because you kind of acknowledge it in the show, does not make the acknowledgement go away. It does not make it any less true. All right, we've seen this match 100 billion times already. All right, we've seen these motherfuckers turn on each other 200 billion times already. All right, and like I've said before, they will never have another match. They will never have another match that was as good as they had back in ROH, okay? Those were the best matches they'll ever have. They're old as shit now, so any match that they have after that, those matches in ROH, they'll never be able to live up, okay? That's just what it is, all right? So, we move on to Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Nobody could possibly care about this match. The crowd was dead during this match, okay? We had 2 commercial breaks during this match, and Motor City Machine Guns, they end up winning by pinfall due to their Skull and Bones double, team finisher, right? Damian Priest, he gets a vignette where he basically says the exact same thing that he said the first night that he came to SmackDown, that he doesn't need anybody else, that he's already made it to the top, and that he plans on going back to the top. He wants to win championships. He doesn't need a crew. He doesn't need a leader. All he needs is himself. Cool. We move on, baby. All right. We get a commercial after that, and once we come back from commercial, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, they're still looking for Solo. All right. And they end up finding Solo, right? Jacob Fatu walks up to Solo, basically says, "Hey man, where the fuck you been? We've been trying to get in contact with you for the last few weeks, and you just fucking dipped out on us." You know what I'm saying? Solo was like, "Look, man, I haven't been in the right headspace in these last few weeks, dog. After I lost the Ulafala, It really felt like I disappointed the family, like I let down the family. But the only way that we're going to get back on top is if we stay together, right? And that starts with you tonight. You got to win this qualifying match so that way you can go ahead and bring that championship back into the family, okay? They keep on using the same old line, all right? But whatever, okay? Jacob Fatu doesn't say much after that. Solo says, I love you, Jacob. And then we move on, okay? Shinsuke Nakamura comes out to the most dead crowd of all time, okay? There was not a peep out of the crowd during his entrance, okay? He comes out to spit a promo in half Japanese, half broken English. Nobody can understand what he's saying. He's getting the what chance because, like I said, nobody could possibly understand a damn thing that he said, okay? LA Knight then comes out, interrupts. LA Knight gives us some clarification on what this motherfucker said. He basically said that that he's been hiding in the shadows and that he's been looking for a worthy opponent and that he wants a real test in the ring. LA Knight basically buries him and says that he's a big liar. Says that he has definitely been hiding in the shadows, but he hasn't been looking for a worthy opponent, and he doesn't need a test because the last time that he was in the ring, he dropped him on his head and almost gave him free the hard way until half the island of Samoa came out to stop him and whoop his ass for getting involved in some shit that he probably shouldn't have got involved in, okay? This is when the night picks up, all right? Because obviously we're already there. Yeah, right? LA Knight is out, so you know I'm hyped. But then The Miz comes out, okay? Because LA Knight is talking about how, you know what I'm saying, it's he should be going back up for the title, for the US title, because he was so close to winning this last time. And The Miz comes out. He basically turns heel once again. Here we are again, The Miz turning heel. And he basically says, what, you guys are still falling for this same shtick, right? It doesn't surprise me because you're all idiots, you're all basic, you're all uneducated, you're all stupid, all right? And it doesn't take much to entertain you people, right? He says that LA Knight, you know, basically all the stuff that we heard Miz say before, that LA Knight is just, you know, a rip-off, a copy, that, you know, his resume speaks for itself, it speaks volumes, all right? LA Knight basically says that The Miz sucks, all right, that the only reason that he keeps on bringing up his resume is because it's been 10 years since he's been relevant in the ring, right? You have to go back and watch this promo segment, okay? This was an old school in the ring, in your face promo battle. Not just, oh, I'm the champion. Well, I was the champion once too, and I'm the champion, and I should be the champion. I took your title. It's definitely not that, okay? The same promos that we get all the time, right? It was not that. These were two motherfuckers going at each other's necks, all right, and really going out there speaking some truths about each other's careers, and you know, just getting massive pops out of the crowd. I was popping during this moment because this is what we need in the business, okay? This is what it's all about, right? Am I mad that LA Knight is back into contention for the fucking US title? Yes. Yes, I am. But at the end of the day, if anybody is going to hold the US title, and they're on SmackDown, it might as well be LA Knight for now, right? Nick Aldis ends up coming out after they're cutting this promo, and he sets up a number one contenders match for right now. Okay, so we hit a commercial break, and when we come back, LA Knight and Miz are in the ring. They're wrestling. This was a good match. Go back and watch this match if you didn't see it tonight. Okay, just a lot of good spots. Okay, LA Knight ends up winning via pinfall. He dropped him on his motherfucking dome piece with the BFT, and then hit that jumping top rope elbow that he does, where he goes up to the second rope and then jumps up to the third, hits that elbow drop, and hits the 1, 2, 3, and that is it. All right. Now next up, Alexa Bliss, or Nia and Candice LeRae, they're backstage, and Alexa Bliss, she comes up, right, and basically says, I mean, something that, yeah, is possible. She says that if Nia wins and if Alexa Bliss wins at the Elimination Chamber, that they would be able to face each other at WrestleMania again. So there was that. I don't know what that promo was about. It was pretty pointless. The reason why they did that segment, though, I'm pretty sure is just so they could do the little Wyatt 6 glitch, because we're back to them making the screen glitch out. You know what I'm saying? They're not appearing on the show anymore at this point. They're just in catering and making the screen glitch at this point, all right? So we get a commercial after this, and after that we get R-Truth versus Melo. So I guess earlier in the night, right, Melo was getting the haircut. R-Truth pulls up for some reason, and Melo's basically talking about how he's him, how he whooped Tozawa and how he's him, and R-Truth is like, no, Tozawa is him, and Melo's like, no, I'm him. Like, Tozawa is Tozawa, yeah, but I'm him though. And he's like, no. R-Truth is like, no. Tozawa's mama named him Tozawa, and your mama named you Carmelo. All right, you're not Tozawa, and it was basically just that, going back and forth with that. All right, and then Melo called him out for a match. All right, Melo ends up winning this match. All right. This was a squash, all right? This was a squash match that only lasted, 3 minutes or so like that? So, I mean, I've been asking for squash matches. Sometimes beggars can't be choosers, so I'll go ahead and take it. Melo wins. He gets another dub. I'll take it. I'll fucking take it, okay? So we get a commercial break after this. The Street Profits, they get a vignette. They're just not on the show at this point. I get it. That Angelo Dawkins isn't fully cleared, but they can still at least be on the show, right? They can still come out and actually cut this promo in front of the ring and actually get the people hyped for them to return. They can actually do that. But for some reason, they're just going to be doing these vignettes for a little while. So there's that. Absolutely boring. I like the Street Profits, but that was boring, okay? Next up, we get Pretty Deadly backstage. Their interview, with Byron Saxton. I don't know what the fuck they were saying because nobody could possibly care. DIY then interrupt. I really couldn't care about this segment. I kind of tuned this one out. Basically, they're going to be in a match next week, I believe. It's either, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's next week that they're going to be in a match. So there's that. All right. Next up, we get a promo of Kevin Owens in the car giving his response to Sami Zayn. And he basically says all the same shit that Sami Zayn said, except that, he says that he wants the match in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber. He says Sami can come find him there, if he really wants to settle this shit. So we might see that match at Elimination Chamber as opposed to WrestleMania. Good, because that's not a WrestleMania match, but it's hardly a fucking Elimination Chamber match. All right, so we'll see what happens there. Next up, we get Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. Okay. Before the match starts, Tiffany, they show they show a card at the bottom of the screen, right? A little graphic at the bottom of the screen that says that Tiffany Stratton has been champion for 42 days at this point, and this would be her second title defense. Okay. Now, if you're wondering why WWE sucks right now, it's because of shit like this. You mean to tell me in 42 days, this is her second title defense? Her first title defense was against Bayley, right? And that was the second week that she won it, right? And now fucking 5 weeks later, here we are with her second title defense against the person that she should have defended against, if not first, then at least before tonight, okay? She should have been defending this shit against Nia Jax. But obviously Nia Jax was off doing a bunch of side quests because Rhea Ripley had to have something to do and everybody else had to have something to do. She had to take a couple L's and then she just pops up and gets this title match. So who knows? Whatever. We get this shit. Alright. Most of this match was Nia Jax beating the shit out of Tiffany Stratton, just putting the straight beats on her. Tiffany got some offense in, right? But most of the match was Nia Jax just beating the fuck out of her, okay? Tiffany Stratton ends up getting the upper hand later on in the match, right? Not because of anything that makes sense, but just because, it was that time for Tiffany Stratton to start getting in her offense, okay? Nia Jax wasn't gassed or anything. You know what I'm saying? Tiffany wasn't like going after her knees or, doing like, big, big wrestler versus little wrestler, wrestling psychology. No, just it was about that time for Tiffany to start getting her shit in. So it was about that time. She's getting ready to hit the prettiest moonsault ever when Candice LeRae comes up and bangs her head on the ring post, not the ring post, on the turnbuckle. Okay, match ends in DQ. Mind you that this match was 20 to 25 minutes. It was somewhere in that range. It was like a 20, 25 minute match, okay? And then they end it in DQ, okay? This pissed me off, okay? If don't have a fucking 30 damn near minute match where the match ends in a fucking disqualification, okay? That just cheats the fans in the arena, and it cheats the fans that are watching at home, okay? We had to sit through all of that shit just so it can end in DQ. That was some bullshit, okay? But Candice LeRae and Nia Jax, they start putting the beats on Tiffany Stratton, right? Then here comes Trish Stratus out of the audience, okay? She evens up the odds a little bit, right? Starts beating on Candice LeRae. Security comes into the ring to kind of break everybody up. Brings Nia to the back. Charlotte Flair ends up coming out, right, while Nia's leaving and shit. Charlotte Flair pulls up a chair. Tiffany's in the ring. She's just laid the fuck out, right? Hurt, selling, the beat down that she just got. And, basically Charlotte Flair, she's just says that she chooses Tiffany, right? And that she'll see her at WrestleMania, okay? So, like I said before, we knew that this was going to happen, all right? I guessed that this was going to happen because she wasn't on Monday Night Raw, right? So there we go. We get that confirmation that it will be Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. Next up, we finally get an update on the Jade Cargill situation, okay? Finally. So backstage, Nick Aldis is he calls in Bianca and Naomi, says that there's been a breakthrough in the investigation, and that basically somebody sent in like a video through a cell phone or something like that, an anonymous tip, and he showed them the video of what happened, not necessarily everything that happened, but he showed them the video, and you could see after Jade Cargill was getting carted away into the ambulance, you could see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walking away. All right, you can see them like from behind walking away and all that. So Bianca Belair and Naomi said that they were going to head to Raw and, talk to Liv and Raquel, put the beats on them, hopefully. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm a little upset with this. I mean, because what the fuck does Liv Morgan and Raquel have to do with Jade Cargill? Like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. All right, I don't get this one. Right? For this kind of, if you ask me, this happened for no reason. Okay, I don't think they wanted to turn Naomi or Bianca at this time, and they couldn't turn Bayley, I guess, because she just turned face. Right? So whatever. For some reason, it's Liv Morgan and Raquel. All right. So we'll see what happens with that on Monday. All right. Next up, we get a commercial, of course. And then Tiffany Stratton, she's backstage getting an interview with Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton's, asking her about how she feels about the match and everything. Trish Stratus comes out, interrupts, and basically says that they should team up against Nia and Candice LeRae at Elimination Chamber, and they go ahead and potentially set that one on up for for the Elimination Chamber. So that should be a decent match or whatever. We'll see what happens there. Drew McIntyre catches Jimmy Uso up backstage right back after this. Drew starts talking big shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, look, everybody's gonna be over here going to WrestleMania. You got your brother going to WrestleMania to fight for the World Championship. Even Tiffany Stratton, she's out there getting ready to defend for her championship. I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber, and then I'm going to go on to beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, and you'll be back at home kicking up your feet, and just at home watching us on TV. So how does that make you feel, basically, right? Jimmy Uso just walks away. Drew's like, was it something I said? And as soon as he turns around, Jimmy, hits him with a super kick and leaves him, backstage. You know what I'm saying? Hits him with a little yeet and walks away. Next up, Braun Strowman. He gave a promo basically saying that he was going to run through everybody in the match, then run through everybody at the Elimination Chamber, and then fight Cody Rhodes. All right, we already know. Let's go ahead and move on, okay? Before the match starts, we get a commercial, okay? And then there was another commercial during the match, of course. So this match, we kind of already knew what was going to happen in this match. I had a feeling, right, that it was going to be Damian Priest that was going to win this match. Just because, they put Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman in this. They already had beef. So I figured that they were going to, be taken out with their own sort of beef that they had. And that's pretty much what happened here, okay? So basically what happens is, towards the end of the match, Braun Strowman is getting ready to just absolutely batter and destroy Jacob Fatu in the corner. Jacob Fatu had went outside of the ring, grabbed a chair, and he was getting ready to put the beats on Braun Strowman in the ring. But Braun Strowman got the upper hand, ends up putting the chair around Fatu's neck and has him set up in the corner to do some major destruction. Okay? What ends up happening instead is Solo comes out of the crowd and Samoa spikes Braun Strowman, drops him, pretty much eliminates him from the equation for a little bit. Cody Rhodes then comes out. They start brawling. Tama Tonga comes. He starts beating up on Cody Rhodes. Jacob Fatu kind of gets in the way of the whole little situation. Damian Priest then kind of takes advantage of the situation, puts the beats on Fatu, kind of knocks him out of contention, knocks him over the barricade. He probably hit his head on something in kayfabe, right? So he was out, right? Cody Rhodes hits Solo Sikoa with the crossroads, right? So he's out. Something happened to Tama Tonga. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think he got pushed into the barricade or something like that and got taken out. Braun Strowman ends up getting back in the ring with Damian Priest. Damian Priest hits him with the South of Heaven. Boom, he wins. Cody Rhodes is in the ring, shows a little respect because that's what Cody Rhodes does. He respects everybody. And that was the show for tonight. Going through the show, all right, I will say, and now that I'm kind of going through it, the show was kind of ass, right? But I will say that it was better than last week, and I'll give you a couple reasons why, okay? They at least threaded the story in, okay? This is something that you absolutely should be doing, right? With all your stories in WWE, right? What happens in the beginning should have an impact on what happens at the end of the show, right? So Cody Rhodes comes out, he's cutting his promo in the beginning, Jacob Fatu interrupts, and then we get the Solo interruption, right, basically, right? And then throughout the show, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, they're looking for Solo Sikoa. They get that resolution where Solo Sikoa talks to Jacob Fatu. And then in the end of the show, they bring it all the way back around to the beginning, and it all culminates into a big brawl between them. Of course, we get a brawl, but shit, it's something, okay? They're trying, okay? I can't get mad at it because they at least tried to make this something like an actual television show, okay? But there was just far too many fucking commercials tonight. I think I counted 15 or 14 commercial breaks throughout the 3 hours. That's just unacceptable. I don't care, bro. That's ridiculous, man. It felt like every time I looked up, we were on another commercial break, all right? I am pissed off that LA Knight is not going to be in contention for the WWE Championship. At this point, he needs to be going for a world title because he's he's getting up there, right? He's getting up there in age. You know, he still looks good for his age, but he is getting up there. It's about that time, right? This is that time where, you know, your body starts catching up with you, right? Like all the bumps and shit that you've taken throughout the years, they start catching up with you. So put the fucking title on LA Knight. Yeah, right? Melo got a win, so I can't be mad at that, even though it was over R-Truth. So I am kind of mad about that, right? And for some reason, this is one thing I want to talk about with Drew and Jimmy Uso. I think Gunther should be in this position. Hear me out. Gunther is actually in the match with his brother, so I think Gunther should be the one that is, you know, kind of trying to get into Jimmy's head about the whole Jade situation, because he's his opponent, right? Like, what the fuck does Drew have to do with any of this, right? What does Drew have to do with Jimmy? I mean, I get that, you know, he had his run-ins with the Bloodline a few years ago, but why is Drew trying to get into Jimmy's head? I mean, it's a decent angle, but I think this angle would be better served if Gunther was in this role, trying to get into Jimmy's head, trying to get Jimmy to turn on Jay, right, etc., okay? But tonight's show, it was a better show than last week's show, so at least that's something that I will say, okay? On this channel, we give credit where credit is due, alright? So I want to thank everybody once again for liking and subscribing to the content. So please do like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. This has been your boy, alright? Oh yeah, before I go, this show, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It was right down the middle, straight mid, okay? Too many commercials, but it was straight mid, alright? So 5 out of 10. And this has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.